Do you struggle creating content or finding the time to create content? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk to you and showcase specifically how I would look to do this. Okay, so this is using a technique known as time blocking. Okay, so we've got a chart. Right, this is your day in a box. Right, so let's say the average day that you have is 7. I'll use mine 7 till 9-ish. Okay, so you've got, if you have a 9 to 5, traditionally it will be in this block here. So it'll run from here through to here. And maybe you have a block for lunchtime, right? So this is free time here, this is free time here, and technically this is free time here, or what you perceive as free time at the moment, right? And then you have your day-to-day, meetings, job, etc. We're just going to call it, for the sake for this conversation, work and work, right? So this runs from 9 through till 12, then you have an hour off, and then that runs till 5. That's a traditional. Adjust your time window accordingly, right? So if I do another box over here, because I've drawn in the boxes that I actually wanted to use, all right? So this is what your day could look like, and it kind of depends to me on how bad you want it, right? Because you still are only going to get, you're still not going to be able to get rid of these blocks until you get rid of the part-time, or the business itself can actually increase your revenue. So this is income, right? Very badly way of writing income, but income, right? Until this chunk can be replaced, because you're making more income during this time here, this time, and this time. And potentially this time as well, because this is what I did, right? And the income then becomes up, which means you can then take less and less time to your actual day job specifically. What you have to do is just have a way of thinking about it. Are you going to make today harder in comparison to tomorrow? Right, so what I used to do is, and it's not going to make much sense with 7 to 9, but I'll give you the context, right? My day when I was part-time, now granted I was only part-time, but this would be the same true in full-time, but you've just got to do it differently. So when I had a part-time as well as running the business in the first couple of years of business, I was starting work at 5 in the morning and I was finishing at midnight, right? So my block here was 5 a.m. to midnight, okay? Now, my part-time ran from 6 in the morning, so I got to work at 6. I was up, got showered, etc., got ready. Someone got to work at 6, okay? So that's our 6 line. And then I was in my part-time till, on some days, 1 o'clock, other days 11. But for the sake of this conversation, we'll just say 11, okay? So this was my block of time here that I had to work in my part-time, okay? So this was my part-time, right? Now, every other hour from here down to here, I worked on the business, something related to the business. So in the really early days, this 90-minute section here was a trip to London, a train ride to London. Now during that train ride to London, what I would do is I would be commenting on other posts on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, or sending messages, building a relationship. And then when I got to London, I would have a plan. So my plan was, I'm going to record one video here when I first get to London, right? Video with an O. Then another one, then another one. And whilst I'm doing this, what I'm doing is I'm also looking for opportunities, okay? But I'm also creating a behind the scenes video to show what I'm doing. So these were just highlight videos or tutorials or time-lapse videos, or here's me taking pictures in and around London, right? Or here's some street photography, or etc. And later on we'll talk about how to generate more ideas than you can ever execute on. But I had 6, 7, maybe 8 ideas of videos that I wanted to create in this window here, okay? And eventually what ended up happening was I started getting hired to do videos in London. So let's say, for example, I had a job that still, maybe a day off for my part-time, or even if I had a part-time, I would then be working from 5 in the morning still through till maybe 11, right? Now, I did this, and this was only sustainable for a year, right? But it got me to the point where I could then go full-time, right? And I made that leap during COVID. Great time. But the key was to optimize all the window outside. So moving back to the 9 to 5 example, right? These are your free time slots, okay? It's not about saying, I'm going to do as much as this person, or the part-time person, or me as a full-time creator, or etc., right? I'm going to just see, right, so I start work at 9, okay? I'm going to get up and be ready to start work on my business, for me, from 7. Now, if that means you have to get up at 6, and you get up at 6, you're ready to work, and maybe you've got kids, okay? So maybe you have to take your kids to school or equivalent here, okay? Okay, so your window of time is actually only here that you can work on the business. So do an hour, there. Cool, so now you've got an hour at lunch. Whilst eating lunch, find something to do on the business. This could be generating ideas, talking to ChatGPT, start planning out posts, start planning out what you're going to do on the weekend, what you're going to do in the evening. Are you going to try and launch something? Are you going to try and write a blog? Are you going to, etc. Okay? That could be a planning thing or an execution thing. Depends on the day, depends on what you need to do, right? But then, right, and this completely changes if you don't have kids, because you've got this available window then, because then you can work from 7 until 9 on your business. Okay, so what actually happens day to day is you have work, what I call fun work, because it's for you, it's your business you're trying to build, and this is down to the question of, do you actually really want it, right? So you've got fun work here at 7 till 9, right? Then you go into your day job and work 9 till 5, right? And then you've got 5 o'clock here, right? So you go home, maybe you're home by 6, cool, right? So that's this window of time here. Getting home, if you're a remote worker, fabulous, well done, you've already made it home, great, cool. Then you've got dinner to think about, okay, cool. So let's say we're going to have dinner first, okay, cool. So maybe dinner will be done by, if you have to commute home, let's say dinner will be all done by 6:30, right? But the problem is, you're now running into the evening and you don't have enough time. So what you can do, if you can afford to do so and it's efficient, is actually, you can have dinner in this window, here as you head home. Or if you are remote working, have dinner here, right? And then sacrifice the time you would spend potentially, and you don't have to do this every single day, but pick half the week. I'm going to work from when I finish dinner at 6 through till 8, okay? So you work 40 hours a week, right? And I've already just gained you 3 hours per day, okay? That across a week is going to be what? Let's say you do it 3 to 4 times out of the week. That's going to be an extra maybe 9 hours, maybe 10 hours. Okay, so I've just got you 10 hours, right? So, and then we're back down here in the fun work again. So the key in respect to the time, and it sounds horrible to say, but it's mostly just a mindset and efficiency thing, I've found, right? And what worked for me was, it depends on how much you want this thing to work, and then your expectations as a whole. Because for me, I was working in this window to make enough to survive, and then over here I was working all of this window. So hopefully this made sense to you. Hopefully this doesn't look too chaotic, but that's time blocking in a nutshell. If you would like to hear more about this at the event specifically, I'll be running it on the 11th of September 2025 between 10 and 12, and I would love to see you there. Tickets are linked in the description down below. Thank you ever so much for coming back and joining me, and I'll see you very soon.